Good morning, everybody. Welcome. I'm so glad to have you all with me today. Hope you're enjoying the weekend. I wanted to introduce you to an absolutely fabulous couple of folks that are with me today in the studio, Austin Atterbury and Sara DeShadas. They are the co-founders of a wonderful organization called Sing Me a Story. And if you've ever wondered about songwriting and where some songwriters get some really amazing inspiration, we're going to learn about that today. These two have combined skills in lots of different areas to come up with a wonderful organization that's benefiting all kinds of kids that are at risk. So welcome to both of you today. Glad to have you.
Thank you so much.
It's great to be here.
So I guess, Austin, let's start with you, because I know that based on our previous conversation, this is sort of your brainchild, but we all know you wouldn't have been there without Sara, who provided you with inspiration.
Right.
So we'll learn about that in a minute, but tell us a little bit about what Sing Me a Story does, and then we can kind of backtrack a little bit into your history with it.
Absolutely. Well, essentially, we provide kids in children's hospitals and hospice organizations, children's homes, and organizations for vulnerable youth across the world and across the country the chance to write stories about whatever they want. And then through our website, we distribute those stories to songwriters who have signed up through our program, who turn them into songs and send them back to the kids. And essentially, that's the crux of it.
So it's sort of a little bit of music therapy combined with maybe some high-level commercial songwriting.
Absolutely, yeah. Actually, Pace Magazine called it music therapy for the 21st century. So,
well, and I think that's really it. And what I think is so key to the whole thing is that you guys are 21st century people, and you're all about the technology and in working it to really its full advantage, which is to connect songwriters with kids really all over the world. I know you started here at Vanderbilt Children's Hospital, but you've got kids that you've found from all over the world.
Yep, because it's online, it really allowed us to scale the whole program, meaning that we can combine kids from all over the world and also songwriters from all over the world. Basically, in 7 months, we've had over 500 songwriters from the UK to Canada to South Africa, and then, of course, here in the States, sign up for our program. And then they can connect with kids all over because it's right there online.
Yeah, it's a really interesting idea for, I guess, ways to capture the feelings and emotions of these kids going through whatever they're going through, and also provide them with some sort of a lasting legacy, really.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's really proven to be quite a legacy piece for families, and it's great. You know, the kids, every child, regardless of circumstance, has imagination. That's the one piece of capital they have. And really what we pride ourselves on, we believe that the greatest gift in the world is to be able to give. And so we give so many of these kids that are so often on the receiving end of things, which is great, but we give them a chance to give back. And especially in a town like Nashville, where you have, songwriters all over the place, the one thing they thrive on is imagination. Yeah.
And Sara, let me ask you, so you are the sort of the specialist in terms of the child specialist. You have a background in social work and working with kids and hospital folks doing some education. Tell us a little bit about your background and sort of how you and Austin came together, because it's a fabulous story in and of itself.
Yes, well, I came to Nashville from Minneapolis area to work as a child life specialist at the Children's Hospital here at Vanderbilt. And our job there was basically to do education and support for children facing scary situations in the hospital, and anywhere from acute illness to chronic illness. And so I was able to kind of support children and their families while they were facing difficult times. And I really fell in love with that therapeutic relationship, as well as supporting children, whether it was during facing a chronic illness or at the end of life. And so Austin came. I moved in next door to him, actually, and that's
literally
where we met.
The girl next door.
Yes.
I love it. You couldn't have written it better in Hollywood.
And he was a musician, and so I encouraged him to volunteer with our music therapy program at Vanderbilt. We have a fantastic program there, run by Jenny Plume, and he did, and he met children, and he would say to them, "Tell me a story," because most kids can't or don't know how to approach songwriting. So that's how it all started. I'm now I'm not in that position anymore. I'm at Vanderbilt University. I'm pursuing my pediatric nurse practitioner right now. And but what I love about this program, and when we came together, being the music world and the healthcare world, was just a chance to provide youth to gain this ability to tell their story and get out of the four walls of the hospital room or wherever it is that they're facing, and not only give inspiration to songwriters, but also have the opportunity to be a songwriter or to read about different stories that kids in South Africa, per se, are writing about when you're a fellow 14-year-old boy.
Right. I'm speaking with Austin Atterbury and Sara Deschadas. Together they are the founders of Sing Me a Story, an organization that connects songwriters with children in at-risk situations, and together they create a story, which is so amazing. And then these songs eventually get put up online. So this is a great way that technology is helping to do some really positive things in our world, and it's wonderful to see people doing that. Tell me, Austin, what's been one of the most compelling stories that you've heard, or something you can share with us in a way that through your organization a child or a family's really been helped?
Sure. Well, here in Nashville, we actually are partnered with Alive Hospice, which is a wonderful organization serving families all across Middle Tennessee. In partnering them, it's really been a blessing for all of us involved. It's been incredible and really inspired us to start approaching and working with hospice organizations all across the country, just because we realize that through our program, we're able to provide families such an unbelievable legacy piece, whether that's siblings that are writing stories about their little brother who may be a patient with a hospice organization, or one case that we had which was really cool, is we had an entire third grade class here in Nashville.
Wow.
That was able to, each child was given the opportunity to write a story about, one of their classmates who happened to be a patient with Alive Hospice. And when we got the stories back, you could tell that the class must have been doing a unit on fact versus opinion, because every story had, facts about their classmate and then opinions, and it was really sweet. And then we were able to take those stories and we distribute them to what we call our inner circle of songwriters, which we reserved just for special cases, which usually are cases that come from hospice organizations or that sort of thing. And, a handful of unbelievable songwriters were able to take all those silly stories oftentimes and turn them into songs. And we were able to provide this family here in Middle Tennessee not just one song, but practically an entire CD of songs about their daughter. And it was really great. And then the parents were able to connect with the songwriters, and since then they've all been in touch, and it's really been really an awesome thing to see. But, we have all sorts of stories that come in on a weekly basis of, a songwriter, a grandmother in some little town in Wisconsin who plays the ukulele wrote a song based on a story of a kid, and his name was Bitupan in eastern India.
Wow. And
then when the organization received the song back, they played it for the entire school of 500 students.
Wow.
And this, I could just picture this little 12-year-old boy who must have been the rock star of his school for the day. And it was really neat. And, this is a school that provides education for kids in rural communities in eastern India that otherwise wouldn't have an education. So it's really awesome to bring the voices of kids in those situations to, one of the biggest microphones on the face of the planet, which is our music industry.
Yeah.
And especially in Nashville, where that microphone is so big.
It is big and has a big reach.
Yeah.
So take us through the process. So how do kids generally find you guys?
Well, what we do is we partner with the organizations that they're a part of. So we've had a number of different strategies in reaching those types of organizations. We've partnered with volunteer organizations that send volunteers all around the world to these different places. And then the partnering organization themselves partners with us. And then somebody on staff there, or maybe a volunteer that may be working with the organization, engages the kids in story writing. And we have also, I come from a family of teachers, so they wrote up, we have all this kind of information and how-to guides to engage kids in story writing. And from there, they just scan them, and then they upload them to our site with the login that they have and that sort of thing. And from there, they're live on our site. And then as a songwriter, you basically can just go to our website, which is www.singmeastory.org, and click on the Join Us tab. And from there, you can sign up as a songwriter, and you just fill in your email address and upload a picture if you want and a link to a website you may have. And as soon as you're active on our site, you're free to browse all the stories from kids from all over the world and write a song. And nowadays, most songwriters can just record a song on their computer. And then as an MP3, you just upload it right back to the story. And then from there, an email goes to that partnering organization, whether that's a school in India or whether it's a live hospice here in Nashville or whatever the case may be. And an email goes with the song attached as an MP3. So from there, the partnering organization can put it on a CD, and it's also live on the website. So kids, if they've been in the hospital and then they've gone home, they can still hear the song because it's live attached to their story. And they can make comments on it and share it with friends and like it on Facebook and share it on Twitter and, all that.
Yeah, all the stuff.
All that stuff.
All the stuff that the parents don't know how to do.
Yeah.
I'm speaking with Austin Atterbury and Sara DeShatis. They are the founders of Sing Me a Story, and we're learning a lot about the process that they go through with connecting children at risk with songwriters all over the country, kids and songwriters all over the country, and how that works. And Sara, I wanted to ask you, as sort of the medical representative in the room, what are some of it may be obvious to some people that there's a lot of healing benefits that come from music and songwriting and sort of the therapy of it. But for those of us that don't know, tell us a little bit about why this type of process is really helpful in terms of healing emotionally as well as helping with actual development.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. Music is the one piece that kind of crosses all cultures, all languages, all pieces of a child's life. And even if a child has reached a point where they maybe can't talk or they are too sick to, turn on the radio themselves, they can still enjoy music and they can still be a part of it. And I think the beauty of this project is that kids, like Austin said, are given a microphone to be creative and tell something about whatever they want. It doesn't have to be about their diagnosis or about the thing that they talk about the most, but it can be about riding a skateboard or having the greatest dad in the world, which is really a unique opportunity for kids to just normalize life and to be able to therapeutically write about whatever it is that they want. It also, a big piece in my heart is siblings out there, and I think so often siblings face a multitude of emotions and challenges as they have a sibling who is sick or at risk or if they're facing something difficult. And this gives siblings the opportunity to feel special as well or write a piece to honor or remember a sibling that is lost. And so I think through music, children are given the opportunity to just have a special place and have a story that a parent can keep forever or that they can keep forever,
right.
Which is special.
Right. And Austin, I wanted to ask, just as we wind down a little bit, to make sure and make the point that not all of the kids are in hospitals or in hospices. They're all kids at risk. So it could be kids in disadvantaged situations or abuse situations as well, correct?
Absolutely, yeah. We've, especially internationally, we've partnered with a lot of organizations that are community organizations, for example, that may provide educations for kids that otherwise wouldn't have an education. So, for example, Sara and I are going to be in Costa Rica in February visiting one of our partners, and that's a school that is in the town of Quepos, Costa Rica, that provides the children there that otherwise wouldn't have an education with a free education. And so, So it's not just hospitals, it's hospice organizations, basically kids that need a boost and so often are left voiceless in our communities and in communities across the world. Like I said, we pride ourselves on hopefully giving those kids a voice, which otherwise they may not have.
Sure. And I also wanted to ask for those music industry mavens who might be listening in, how does the process work if a songwriter writes a song and then they want to record it on an album? Is that something that's being done or not yet, really?
Yeah, absolutely. We just have been working with an artist today and this week who's putting one of a song that she wrote for a child in Vietnam on the record that she's actually going to print right now. And essentially how that works is that we developed a license agreement with songwriters that basically says that 50% of any proceeds they may make as the copyright owner of that intellectual property, which is the song, comes back through us and then for further dissemination to wherever the inspiring story came. So in the case that we've been working on this week, for example, this artist, a portion of the proceeds that she makes from the sale of her record are going to come back through us, and then we're going to disseminate to a place called Blue Dragon Children's Foundation in Hanoi, Vietnam, which helps street kids in Vietnam. So yeah, it's pretty cool. It develops a wonderful fundraising opportunity for some of these organizations.
Sure.
And like I said, it's kind of, goes back to the idea of, giving a man a fish or teaching them how to fish, and it provides this opportunity for these kids and these organizations to fundraise on their own.
Absolutely.
Through the one thing that all kids have, which is imagination.
And of course, I would be remiss if I didn't give you an opportunity to tell us again about your website. And if songwriters are listening and they do want to get in touch with you, no audition is required, right? They just go on and sign up.
Yep. And we always say we take anyone who considers themselves a songwriter. So we've
watch out.
Yeah. But you go to our website, www.singmeastory.org, and there's a big button there that says join us, and click on that, and from there you can sign up as a songwriter.
Wonderful.
And even if you're not a songwriter and you just want to visit the site to check out the stories and check out the songs, you're free to do that as well. You can always like us on Facebook, or we have a shuffle button, so you can shuffle through just one afternoon, just listen through to a whole bunch of different and unique songs that have come from the stories.
Well, you guys are proof that two heads are better than one, because you make a wonderful team yourselves, and what a fabulous happy ending to The Girl Next Door. That's a great story. I understand you guys are soon to be married at some point.
Yes, we're getting married in next October.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, I wish you all the best. And once again, I've been speaking with Austin Atterbury and Sara DeShatis. They are the co-founders of singmeastory.org. Check them out. Wonderful, wonderful music, and wonderful folks that you want to help out, especially help them help others. And it's fabulous. So thank you guys again so much for joining me today.
Thank you.